Hello, my friends, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. I'm sure you've noticed all the drama today regarding Grummz and Nick Calandra and Second Wind Media, and a little-known person who hasn't gotten discussed much, probably because it's a weird place to start, but Gigabear. So here we are at the beginning of everything that popped off today. At 12:22 p.m., May 21st, Gigabear tweets, "If anyone at Second Wind has a problem with me, a user who is never banned and has broken no rules on the server, being on their Discord, so state and I will gladly leave. I did archive everything though, since Nick has no issue with that. He's done it enough to ember Discord." Then at 12:36 p.m. on May 21st, Gigabear tweets, "I have left Second Wind Discord. I thought it was best." At 12:50 on May 21st, Gigabear tweets, "You've been targeting Grummz, myself, and the entire Ember community for months. I sent 2 friend requests purely to get them to discuss me in the channel, and you go to instant red alert and make it out like I was sending people death threats." And here you have a message from Nick Calandra. "At everyone, if you receive a friend request from Gigabear, do not accept it. He is a user with a history of obsession and stalking who is currently targeting me on social media and is trying to reach out to people in this server to find dirt. I've had 2 reports now of people he sent friend requests to and is going through and rescinding them now that we know he has an alt in the server," along with a whole bunch of cheerful emojis. Obviously, people aren't exactly thrilled with that. At 12:55, Gigabear posts, "Like in the mentioned bar, people tend to say more of what they actually feel when they think it's purely among friends. This is a bit unhinged." Here you see at the top, Nick Calandra, Editor-in-Chief. "I've argued and persuaded some people to realize how stupid they're being. It can happen. But right now these folks are just trolling, basically trying to portray everyone that's calling them out as the, quote, actual racists, while they've joined a curator group that literally might as well be called I'm a Bigot. Okay, that's fair. I guess using anyone was too strong language too." Nick says, "I had to do my research before taking over The Escapist. The vast majority of this stuff is coming from the same dweebs that run that Kotaku and Action subreddit, and sometimes I'm more than happy to let people from that sub know that nobody will ever love them, lol. Well, that's why I asked what the hell this was all about, because I was ignorant of the whole situation, and I'm not listening to grown men who still, to this day, hurt that The Last Jedi ruined Star Wars for them. I mean, it probably did ruin Star Wars for them, but that's another topic." Nick responds, "Some folks were in my replies being like, wow, that was mean." And I'm like, yeah, these are the kinds of people that if they said any of this stuff to me at a bar, I would more than happily get kicked out for knocking them out. I will say that kind of commentary in general on Twitter, or even in a Discord or a Guilded or whatever you're in, isn't entirely unusual. There are many people in this world who have forgotten you can be hit in the face for saying things you probably oughtn't, and it's so much easier to say them when no one can reach you. But that goes both ways. At 12:56 p.m. May 21st, Gigabear posts, "And remember that Eggman gif I posted the day that the rusty nail situation happened? It turns out he literally did that. You see here, it says, I got him now." This guy says the touch. And here you have the post about Nick saying that Gigabear was coerced by Mark Kern. And Dingo says, "Nick, this is your Rome. Conquer away, buddy." 1:11 p.m. May 21st, Gigabear, "But this is where it gets really concerning. A cooperative effort in the Second Wind Discord to dox Grummz, and Nick Calandra was fully on board, only acting when it got into his actual address being posted, but only insofar as to direct it to his DMs instead. Unhinged." Here you have this. According to this, he lives in Cali, and you have I think that's a LinkedIn thing. This guy says, "Oh, gross, I used to work in blank. That's also a really expensive part of the state. The grift must be paying off pretty well for these dipshits." Nick says, "Yep, that's him." Not if it's not him. There are several people in the U.S. with all 3 of those names, which maybe there is some registry for debtors and bankruptcies with actual info. Like, I can look up person here if they are in debt easy. And Nick says, looking to verify. Meadow says, "I don't think so, but there is one public registry where an entry exists with a matching address to your screenshot." And then here's the Nick's secret. And here Nick says, "To the LinkedIn or the bankruptcy. Let's not share addresses in here, even if public record." This person says, "Fair." Can't find anything else in Unicourt, nothing around California anyway. When looking for people, I did find half a dozen with the same middle name. The birth years only 1 year apart, so it could easily be a false positive. There were at least one in Florida, at least one in Minnesota, and several in California. I see no reason he would have filed in Florida, so it's probably not him. And this person says depends on where the company was set up. No? Not sure how much of a good idea to be discussing publicly. I feel like we're approaching a line here. I mean, you're absolutely right, Justin. But is it not fun? Probably for some folks, sure. If not fun, at least interesting. Meadow said, this is the most fun I've had since 30 minutes ago. Nick says, if you find stuff, feel free to DM it to me. But yeah, any personal details or anything like that, don't post it in here. I'm not going after him personally. I'm going after his business dealings. And at 1:38 p.m., Gigabear posts, of course, there's a Reddit mod. Austin, Mark Kern, that takes me back. One of the best things I ever did online was bullying that guy off a subreddit I modded. And of course, the internet reactor, like Asman and Leftist React, the one that isn't Hassan level, is the one making content around those topic. Well, modded. I owned the subreddit, but I got a bunch of other people to do the actual work. If you follow Nick Tweet, Nick is in a whole journey of investigating his shitty-ass community-backed game, where all the promised stuff not fulfilled. This says, what can you expect from a professional coke fiend? At 12:55 a.m., Gigabear post, Pandanome is a completely separate member of the Ember community who is very nice and does not need to be bothered by any of this. We're also leaking the first part of my Patreon email, I see. I need some time to judge how serious that actually is. Luckily, I used a spare. Nick says, I should have shared the Patreon account that they used as well for anyone else they might try to infiltrate. Alts they use are Rusty Nail, The Red Gear, Pandanome, Gigabear, Giga_bear, Brandon Jones, emailed they used, Doom31, and I'm sure there's plenty more. In a follow-up tweet, Gigabear does say, I will say that I wisely changed that email right before subbing. Until then, it had my real name in it. We would be having a very different convo if that had been leaked. At 1:47 p.m. on May 22nd, Nick tweets, things have escalated a bit with that Gigabear user, so I'm alerting those that follow me. He joined our Patreon under an alt username to access our Patreon, which is public, LOL, and began sending friend requests to some of our users to try and dig up dirt on me. And here is the post that we saw earlier about if anybody has a problem with him, he'll leave. At 9:09 a.m. on the 22nd, Grummz tweets, I just got doxxed. My family has been doxxed. Second Wind and former EIC of Escapist Nick Calandra has weaponized his Discord server and is encouraging his thousands of Patreon supporters to dox me. They did. And unlike certain other journalists who won't post receipts, I will. My addresses are posted, among other details about people they assume are me. Instead of banning the user who did so, and who later edited his post to Nick's secret to obscure my address, but only after it was seen by thousands. Instead, Nick encouraged them to do more, and to avoid further TOS violations, asked that the information be sent to him in secret to avoid Discord disciplinary actions. These users go unpunished by his moderation team. Instead, they are praised. Nick has been stalking me and tweeting about me for almost 2 months nonstop, and is so hot to, quote, get me, that he was fooled by one of my supporters into publishing a story on X from a user whose name was a sting, an anagram for journalist, and he fell for it. They are also trying to dox members of my own community. Nick published Gigabear's Patreon email. He calls me a grifter, but earns over $54,000 a month attacking me and enabling violence against me by egging on his community. My thanks to one of my supporters, Gigabear, who reported this to me after going undercover in Nick's Discord server. And here are images we've seen before, discussing it publicly. LinkedIn. We haven't seen this one yet. Gigabear at 9:32 a.m., May 22nd, I have been informed that Second Wind is trying to report me to Discord Trust and Safety for sending friend requests. I left their Discord, which was joined in full accordance with the TOU, the moment they indicated that I was not welcome. I did absolutely nothing wrong. He responds further, yes, they did not even have to ban me. I left on my own. My presence there was a result of subbing their Patreon, entirely legitimate in every way. This is frankly pathetic. At 9:27 a.m., Nick tweets, Mark Kern is accusing me of doxing him now. but no such thing ever happened. His address was never shared in our Discord. A public LinkedIn account was, along with his public business filing records for Quixa Labs LLC. He was not doxxed in any form by me or my community. The out-of-context post they're pointing out is me taking down is for the Quixa Labs filing, as it is public record. But it did not need to be in our Discord, so I had them remove it. I have zero personal information on Mark or his family and zero interest in his personal life. As for his receipts, it's all right there, LOL. I specifically said I have no interest in his personal details, just business details. He can play the victim all he wants with this, including contacting authorities if he so pleases, as no personal information of his was shared. And I do have to stop here and make a point that I don't think people like Nick or a lot of other people necessarily realize. Just because something is on a business doesn't mean it's not a personal home. The reason for this is in many states you have to have a physical address in order to register a business or an LLC. Now, a lot of businesses do run from their own homes, especially people like Grummz, who very likely works from home. So by doxing their business, you are in fact doxing their home. Now, you don't have any idea about that, which is why it's not a great idea to at any time give away any information publicly about another person. It's not a good idea no matter what situation it is. For one thing, in general on the internet, it's frowned upon. If someone doesn't volunteer the information, unless you are dealing with something where someone is actually in an imminent threat of danger, it's not necessarily a great idea in general. Now, a lot of people will try to excuse this for various things, but the fact of the matter is, when it comes to addresses, unless you can verify that is not an actual residence, don't put it out there. Don't give it to people. Don't share it anywhere. Don't link it anywhere. Because you very well could be endangering somebody's family without even realizing it. It doesn't matter if that's not your intent. That is what you end up doing. So it is definitely something to keep in mind. Moving on. At 11:02 a.m., May 22nd, Gigabear posts, "These people. No, Nick, we aren't. I condemn this behavior, whether it's done to Mark or done to you. We're very clear about that." And here you see a post from Nick. "Well, as usual, these folks are trying to dox me now. So if you see any of my information, including addresses, family names, etc., please let me know so I can report it and keep the receipts for proper authorities." And here you have some chud. "Hello, I found public information for your home. Its equity, addresses, and other public information about it and you. Since it's all public information, I'm assuming you're okay with me publishing about it. If I'm wrong about this assumption, please let me know sooner rather than later." As I literally just stated, don't dox. Don't give people's public, private information out. Just don't. It doesn't matter who you're talking about. Doxing is wrong across the board. I don't care how much I hate somebody. I don't care how much you hate somebody. It's not something that you should do. It shouldn't happen to Nick. It shouldn't happen to Grummz. It shouldn't happen, period. It is not right. And the fact that he seems to assume that because there are bad people, and these people exist, it doesn't matter what side of the room they're on, or aisle, or whatever you want to call it, they exist all the way across because they're out for one thing. They feel a way, they knee-jerk react, and they look for vengeance. And in this case, the best vengeance they can find is to do what they think Nick has done. And that is wrong. Period. At 11:45 a.m., May 22nd, Gigabear posts, "I have no beef with you or anyone else at Second Wind outside of Calandra, and I don't appreciate the implications here." Here, Eric says, "Hi, you all. I think this is a good reminder about security tips. If a stranger suddenly wants to add you as a friend to contact you, it's usually a creep or have malicious intent. It is also important that your profile doesn't contain any information you don't allow stalkers to know about." And while I understand Gigabear thinks that this is directly about him, and maybe it is, in general it's good advice. Don't accept weird friend requests. Don't click weird links. That's how you get your Discord hacked. At 1:31 p.m., May 22nd, Nick posts, "Remember, they're totally not okay with this stuff." And once again, we're totally not okay with this stuff. Just because these people do it doesn't mean that everybody else endorses it. Here, some jackass says, "You and your family are easy to find." This guy just says, "I'm going to find where you live," which is creepy and wrong and interesting name. This guy says, "I would do something far worse, but I know it's wrong." It's not about being right. It's about giving a taste of their own medicine. And that is an absolutely terrible way to think. All that does is create more issues. And here you have A guy says maybe he needs a bounty on his head himself just so he learns it's not right. And here's the thing. Grummz has said it's not right. Everybody I know that he hates, apparently, has always said it's not right. They've said it's not right when people who supposedly agree with them do it. They've said it's not right when people that disagree with them do it. Because it's not right. What side of this issue you stand on shouldn't make a difference on if it's right or not. But you also shouldn't just automatically assume that because you disagree with people, the people attacking you, their actions are endorsed by those people you don't like. And I don't like it when my side does that either. I don't like it when people over here say, well, I thought you guys didn't like this, because you know what? Most of them don't. We don't like it, they don't like it. There's a small portion of people who do this kind of shit and nobody likes it. Unfortunately, there are a few on their side who will celebrate it. And honestly, there are a few on our side who will celebrate it too. It is one of the pathetic things about human beings. Second Wind Discord is now posting a CYA and putting it all on Nick. But Nick did all of this and has said plenty about Ember and Grummz in his official EIC Discord account and roll on. But Nick did all of this and has said plenty about Ember and Grummz on his official EIC Discord account and roll on their private Patreon Discord. He linked his reporting there too. Second Wind is very much involved. At everyone, hi all. For transparency, this post was updated to make it easier to read. Thanks for your patience. As some of you may be aware about, Nick has been researching on his own about a game on X/Twitter. Now him and his server are being targeted as public information about the company and its owner were shared here and declared as doxing. The actions or opinions from both parties is not my business. And my intention with this post is to focus on your safety. As a reminder, targeted attacks or doxing is not allowed here. If private information or information about anyone is being shared here, please report to us. Make sure to protect your personal info, check security tips for more details, and set private any profile information you don't want folks to see. Harassment won't be allowed to anyone, the community, the staff, or this individual. This is a shared rule across Discord, YouTube, and Twitch. Please avoid joking or using sarcasm about the topic. Regardless of intention, it leads to making the situation worse and can be weaponized in screenshots to create non-existent context. This server is for Second Wind and the staff's original content. The server was always free to join and is not intended for drama or targeting other folks. Paid membership funds are used to pay the creators and is not for Nick to use personally. We are about transparency. If you wish to verify the screenshots, you are free to check #unpacked. To repeat, nobody have shared information that was private in this server. If someone does, please report to us. It doesn't matter from whom. This is unacceptable behavior and won't be tolerated. And here you see a bunch of emojis. At 5:18 p.m. on May 22nd, and just to add, this research was not a personal project. It was intended at the time for a video on his Unpacked series they pay him for until that video was killed by yours truly. This brings it firmly into him acting on behalf of Second Wind in these circumstances. Nick says, we confirmed in our leads meeting this morning I'm moving forward with the video on all of this. Apparently I missed a tweet, so. At 5:11, May 22nd, Gigabear posts Nick is falsely believing Second Wind is isolated from his actions because he didn't use their accounts, despite him acting in official capacity right there on the Discord and publishing it there too. Nick, I have receipts of his entire manipulation, so if they really do try to go to court with me over it, can't do anything to Second Wind, I haven't touched the story from any of our accounts for this reason. They would have to admit to false identities, go through discovery of Ember, etc. So all that's going to happen here is the people who hate game media will continue doing so. I filter them out of our stuff, and we go on our merry way. No different than if we post a take they don't like with Helldivers 2 and Cold Take. 7:37 p.m. on May 21st, this got out of order. God damn it. Making this part extra clear as he's still going, Gigabear has a history of creating alts, faking an identity, and doxing. If you receive anything from Second Wind that's not from an official Second Wind email, please verify with me. Far as I know to this point, Gigabear has never impersonated someone who's known to someone else. He pretended to be someone unknown leaking information, but that's a slightly different issue. Finally, we have, all right, since Grummz continues to target and lie, here's my final statement on this is I am now seeking legal action. 1. His address was not shared anywhere, ever. This information is from a sixth sense he's referring to. He proclaims I want him killed. This is 100% false. I have not asked for any personal information on him in any form. I preemptively asked no public records, court filings for bankruptcy be shared in the Discord, as they could contain sensitive information, so I made sure to protect Mr. Kern's address if they included it. 5. I have never ever mentioned Kern's family in any of my posts anywhere. I was focused entirely on the business dealing of his crowdfunded game, Ember. I have made many public statements in our Discord and elsewhere about my stance against any form of harassment. My family and myself have been threatened with physical violence, which is not okay. Doxxing, not okay, including people posting my mother's name, also not okay. Holy shit, people, really? All is being documented on my end and reported to proper channels. Good. I'm posting this video for documentation for legal purposes and to make sure there's a public record of what he claimed about me. From here on, I will not be talking about Grummz publicly, as I will be seeking legal counsel going forward. So here you have a post from Grummz. Nick is now contemplating legal action against me after encouraging his paid and private Discord to go after me, resulting in my dox. He has not banned or reprimanded anyone on Discord for doing this, but instead asked that any private info be sent directly to him instead of posted. On stream today I was upset, but still gave him a chance. My 24-hour rule. Apologize. Denounce this. Stop escalating, stalking, spying. Stop tweeting about me every single day for 2 months. Ban the people who posted info about me. Instead, he responds with this, possible legal action. And here is a clip he has from the Side Scroller podcast. We'll give that a quick listen.
He said, dude, read the receipts he has. It's clear as day nothing personal was shared about him in any form. We wouldn't allow that to happen in any form on our Discord. I responded, I said, you personally didn't.
He just did on Twitter. He just did. Fuck that guy.
When you say, and then, okay, let's get a little clarity here. When you say doxing, right, you mean your personal address or your location? What specifically do you mean by that, Grummz?
Where people live, where family lives.
You mean the general area?
Where people, no, it was more than that. In the link he posted, it's more than that.
Okay. And he's saying it's all public. He's saying
it's street address.
A street address with numbers on it.
Look, it's all public. You can get any information you want on anybody for $20 through data brokers. Okay. And even though when this all started, I started to sign up for data brokers, it takes 60 to 90 days for them to scrub that. Just because it's out on the internet isn't right to encourage people to post it when there are death threats against that person. That is completely irresponsible.
I don't think anybody disagrees.
That is reprehensible. That is inciting violence. They love to say, oh, by putting a sexy woman in Stellar Blade, you're literally going to get women killed. This motherfucker is trying to get me killed.
I don't want to put the other two up just in case they're a little too close to locations, because as I said before, and Nick may not be thinking about this, just because Nick hasn't asked for any personal information doesn't mean he hasn't received any personal information and just not realized it. Here's what I believe. I believe Nick genuinely just is going after Mark on a business level. He doesn't like Mark. He wants to destroy his business because he thinks that'll be what hurts Mark the most. And because that's what Nick wants. That's what Nick deals with. Nick deals with the gaming business. So he wants to punish Mark through the gaming business. Nick has not thought through the fact that these may not be actual business locations. And so he goes off on the, well, it's public information. Lots of things are public information. That doesn't mean other people want them out where others can see them. That doesn't mean it's safe to put them out where others can see them. It's one of those really delicate situations that if you are going to behave like a real journalist, then what you don't do is you don't let people post it in your Discord, because you can't, without verifying that, be 100% positive that that is not an address that people live at. Now, do I think Grummz is overly dramatic on the other side of this? Yes, I do. I do. And I know people don't agree with that. I know they want to take it all very, very seriously. And to some degree, I do believe it should be taken seriously because there are crazy people out there. But I don't think that Nick is trying to get anybody killed. I do think that if he's not careful, he could very well get someone harmed. And I don't think he wants that. I genuinely don't. And I know you're going to watch this, but I do think Gigabear's a shitstormer. I know he's passionate about what he's interested in. and it shows through what he goes through to do these things. But the man's definitely a shit stirrer. All that said, the fuck is going on here, guys? Gaming is not supposed to be about this. Gaming is supposed to be about having fun. It's not supposed to be about going after other people's business. If the people who invested in Ember before Mark shut it down feel that they have been betrayed, then they can go after him. From what I understand, he's not selling anything regarding Ember currently. If he starts again, that could be an issue. If Ember is as much of a scam as Nick thinks that he is, then he should publish the information he has on it. He doesn't need the business addresses for that. He doesn't need Mark's personal bankruptcies for that. All he needs for that is the facts, is how long it's been out, how long it's taken, and his opinion on it being vaporware. That's all he needs if that's really what he wants to report. And for many people, that is enough. He doesn't need some gigantic hit piece. He's not going to make his career on reporting about Grummz and Ember. But I do still feel that he is so tied up, and looking at the messages from the Discord, I feel even more strongly that he is so tied up in his political identity that he has forgotten that there are people who don't necessarily think the way he thinks they think. There are people who feel differently than him, but they feel differently not because they are sexist, not because they are racist, not because they're bigots, but because that's what they like. Because there are other reasons to dislike things other than those things, other than being any kind of ist or phobe or whatever. And honestly, I doubt he'll hear this, Nick. If you'd like to talk, I'll talk to you. Maybe we can reason it out. Maybe, probably not. I doubt you would take me up on that. But it's there. All things said, guys, what do you think of all this? It's a bunch of information. I know. Let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. If you really liked it, you can feel free to share it around, and I will catch you later.